Hello everyone, this is finally the big change we have all been waiting for in FM for years and years and years. Set pieces, they have finally done it. They've finally overhauled the set piece system. That is probably the biggest request for the last 5, maybe even 10, 15 years. Set pieces, we know, are an absolute pain, but they've just put it, we've seen it on the feature announcements on the timeline for a couple of weeks now. The blog post is out now. It's just come out 5 minutes ago, so I'm going to go have a look at it. I've not looked at it yet. We'll see what this means. They did put out a tweet that said there were set piece coaches, so we know that is in there. Everything else, let's go have a look. Here we go, set piece refresh and coach's debut. This is probably, it's relatively minor compared to some of the other stuff, but it's also probably the biggest change that has been needed for a long, long time. I know they've been worried about changing and tweaking set pieces too much, but it's long overdue. So let's have a look. Set pieces refresh and coach's debut. Whether they are a potent source of goals or one of your team's key defensive strengths, set pieces are an integral part of every football match and every manager's tactical approach. Anyone who's ever played PvP knows how important set pieces are. You can win a PvP tournament on set pieces. They're pretty exploitable as well, so hopefully this maybe fixes that a little bit. Many elite clubs have added set piece specialists to their coaching teams in recent seasons as they seek to find the extra 1% to help them edge out their most fierce rivals. Their arrival on the scene has led many of you to making the suggestion on the forums and socials for us to upgrade the way set piece systems work in FM21. Yeah, many people for a very long time, but here we go. We've finally got it now in FM24, the most complete edition in a series today. They keep calling it like this, complete edition. So I think 25 is going to be on this new system. So they want to say this is like the culmination of what Football Manager was. 25 is going to be a fresh start. I think this is good. Based on everything so far, and this is a little bit more of oversight on FM24. I feel like FM24 is going to feel like a bigger upgrade than 25, except for like the visual aspects and stuff. I think 25 in terms of actual features is going to be lighter because they're going to be focusing on those bigger picture changes to the game, the systems, the menus, etc. Porting it over to that new system, Unity. There's some problems with that, by the way. Make sure you check out my video on that. So now in FM, I've read that bit. Expert insight from key industry contacts means that set piece coaches. Yeah, I think Liverpool started this a few years ago with the set piece coaches. They hired one. I think they got one in from another sport. I don't know if it was American football. Probably had, kicking coaches first, and Liverpool managed to get one in. They're making their debut. Oh, it might have even been Stoke with Rory Delap throw-in coaches. Will help power a refresh set piece creator. Here we go. Zonal marking, player marking, hybrid. Yes. You can sort of do it now, but it's really tricky to do. Okay, let's go. In FM24, set piece coaches are now a specialized staff role. Perfect. In order to make this possible, we've added a set piece attribute to every coach in the database. Oh, so this might be the first new attribute they have added in a long time. Normally, if they need to add something they don't already have, they've added it via traits. I don't think there's been a new attribute since Football Manager since even Championship Manager. I don't know. I can't remember if maybe there's a new one. Maybe adaptability or something was added. But certainly on players, there hasn't been any new attributes. You can go and get the Championship Manager attributes and pretty much port them over like Mad Scientist does with his old databases. It's interesting stuff. Right. So they added the set piece attribute to every coach that indicates the ability to train your players in tactical aspects of set pieces. That said, the profiles of set piece coaches looks a bit different to those of other coaches in previous editions. Instead of a scouting knowledge on the right-hand side, you'll see their set piece preferences. Okay, let's take a look at this then. So what do we have? Right. No, this is the set piece coach, but it's not there. Wait, it suggests it should be here instead of knowledge. It's not there. Defend transition, attacking numbers, defend transition. That's new. I haven't seen that before. Oh no, sorry, this is it. This is it. Set piece preferences. Oh, that would be where they have the knowledge from the locations. Gotcha. I thought it was saying here on the judging a bit. So delivery specializes in swinging. Neither post for defending, aim for far post. Okay, it says it's actually quite like detailed into what they like, the delivery style they prefer and how they like to set up. If you're lacking a set piece coach at your club and you've got space to hire one, you'll be encouraged to do one in a staff meeting. I think this is the blog post from the other day. Yeah. So a new flow to your set piece preferences. These new coaches will impact on the careers pretty much straight away as they are the driving force between our refreshed set piece creator. Yes, come on. Thank you, Sports Interact. It's long overdue, but thank you. That's what we needed. This creator marks a significant shift. Thank you for in the first 30 seconds. Shift from how we've approached set pieces in previous editions of Football Manager. Now the focus of every routine and scenario is on the players with the most appropriate attributes instead of their positions in your tactic. Yes, perfect. That's what was. This is what everyone's been saying. Like, let me put at the near post the best header is. Don't make me put at the near post the CDM, because sometimes your CDM is N'Golo Kante and sometimes your CDM is Thomas Souček or Scott McTominay, and you've got a massive difference there in height, in heading ability, completely different kind of CDM players. Okay, so whether you're bringing forward, say from FM23, or writing a new football story, your set piece coach will present you with, they're like this, hammering in like the other features that they've announced, present you with 6 key questions that will focus on both your defensive and offensive preferences from dead ball situations. The first question will ask you to indicate whether you want your team to defend with zonal, hybrid, or man marking. Okay, yeah, that's at the team level. Okay, good. Each option will have its own contextual explanation and visualization, as well as a tooltip that illustrates the pros and cons of each approach. We've also added an indication of your set piece coach's preferred option. So matching that up is going to be interesting, and it's going to allow for a little bit more variance in the set pieces. From there, you'll be asked further questions about how aggressively you want to counterattack from your opponent's set pieces, whether you want your takers. Okay, right. This is really interesting. It's got a whole wealth of new possibilities. Countering from your opponent's set pieces, if you just want to get it out and get it up the field and like attack on it, I mean, that's a really effective way of scoring goals. I think FM21, it was actually really broken. If you had, it was so easy to counterattack. Whether you want your taker staying for near post, far post, center box, and preference for in swinging or out swinging. Okay, can you still set the players though? I wonder if this is taking away a little bit of control at the same time. I think it is. Interesting. So can we move these around? Okay, let's read on. More adaptive and intelligent routines. Your set piece coach will use the answer you provide to craft some initial corner and free kick routines for every scenario. When these routines are created, you now see that every set piece has a specific role attached to it. For example, at the corner, key role. There are new key roles: aerial threat, box threat, recovery defender, creators. Okay, good. Instead of needing to manually assign instructions to specific positions, instructions are now automatically assigned by your backroom team to each of these 4 role categories. For example, instead of saying you want your right side central defender to attack the far post, your biggest aerial threat will now be given that job. Each role category is ranked from top to bottom, with the top instruction being assigned to your most suitable player on match day. Let's look at the image, see if this clears that up a little bit. Aerial threats. Most dangerous danger. Right, so the most dangerous one attacks the far post. The second most dangerous marks the keeper. Third attacks ball from edge of area. Fourth lurks at the near post, outside the box. One lurks outside the area. The second lurks far side. The defenders stay back if needed, and if they're not needed, they go forward. There's little instructions you can set here. We set an in-swinging corner. Grealish is the taker, aiming for the center. Oh, that's good. I like that. It does change things up a little bit. Show creator. Okay, let's read on. I wonder if show creator lets you do a little bit more. These rankings automatically update as you change team selection, formation, or make substitutions, meaning you're no lead. Yes, saves time, especially in stuff in network saves and PvP. Oh my word, that would save so much time. No more micromanaging. These player rankings are accompanied by a new priority list, which allows you to set you and your set piece coach determine which roles you think are most important. Each type of set piece. It'd be quite useful if you could. I mean, you could just set up pre-set pieces. If you take off your tool players and bring on your tool players, it changes what kind of set piece you go for. But that would be quicker to do, I suppose. If one of your players based on attributes is ranked number 1 for one or more role, they'll be assigned to the one that's highest position priority. Good priorities. Actually, they found a good way of managing this. When they've got multiple priorities at the same time, and based on the number they go through, it's probably going to require a little bit of test and error to make sure you get the right ones in the right spot. But that's pretty good. So aerial defenders, trackers, counter-attackers, priority list. So the ones at the top are going to be the aerial defenders, second are trackers, third are counter-attackers. I wonder if, so you can set them across here as well. It's going to set your aerial defenders first, then it's going to set your trackers, then it's going to set your counter-attackers. Okay, you're going to want to be careful. I guess you can move those around, but you're also going to want to be careful that your counter-attackers don't get drawn in. Your fastest player is prioritized as a counter-attacker and not, a mid-level tracker. So you might need to play around with your team there to make sure you get that right. Okay, let's go back and look. I opened all these tabs so far. We've also introduced new concept of set piece familiarity to reflect the players you're doing each training. Having greater understanding as well as a smarter way of prioritizing your target help you unlock opposition defenses and better implement your set piece philosophy. Good. When you want to add new attacking and corner routines, you've got the choice of either duplicating one you've already created or selecting an alternative. The addition of a new routines will trigger a pop-up that allows you to indicate the frequency at which you use. Okay, this is like you can do now, but you can change the frequency. That's good. So you can do that now, but to change the frequency is quite useful. Let's look at the image here. So routine 1, and actually, is that the frequency like this here? I guess so. So this is like, they're going to do this. I don't know if that's bar is full or, you know, about 10% of the time, but that's pretty cool. So you can even set how often they come up. You'll notice when reviewing your free kick reviewing your free kick routines that we've added some instructions to better reflect the way teams approach them in real life. These include one for defensive line height, wide free kicks, and wall if needed. Oh, this is good. That allows goalkeepers to decide if they're necessary. Oh, okay, that's useful. A more authentic approach to throw-ins. So this is specifically throw-ins now. Mirroring more closely how teams approach throw-ins in the professional game, we've changed our approach from previous editions. Now you'll be asked by your set-piece coach to indicate how you want to tackle throw-ins in the defensive, middle, and attacking third of the pitch. Okay, that's good, because you can get caught out on throw-ins like high up the pitch, or, you know, there's a difference between a throw-in that's 3/4 up the way at the pitch and a throw-in that's like 90% of the way up the pitch, and it can cause some real problems if you like go way attacking a one only 3/4 of the way up pitch. The first two give you the opposition to retain possession and work the line. While attacking third, okay, so it's in thirds. Attacking third, you choose to work the ball into the box or go for a long throw. Yeah, because at the minute it only does just whatever side you're on. You obviously don't want attacking a long throw necessarily when you're down in your own corner. Let's look at these. Throw in questioning, right? So we have work into box or take a long throw, which gives you an option. And this is scenario attack, throw into attacking third. Okay, good. So you got like 12 throw-in routine, 12 options for throw-in, 12 options for throw-ins with multiple routines. That's a lot of variation you can make. Let's look at the second one. This is with the long throw. Okay, and then even when you get the long throw, you can set the aerial threats, the outside the box. When you set work into box, I don't think it. What's the difference between these two screens? Why is it giving a slight difference? Interestingly here, I've just noticed this. If you look here, overview team player on the tactics screen. When you go onto this one, team has disappeared. Why does team disappear there? And these are taken at different times. So what's happened here that's changed is this the creator? Is this if you tick that button there, does that allow for this? See this button here, show creator? That's not on this screen. I wonder if that's, but then how would you get back to the other screen? Curious, because that's two different screens. Okay. Once you've selected your preferences for each of the 3 areas of the pitch, your set piece coach will generate routines in the same way they did with corners and free kicks, and your players will automatically assign. Okay, good. Streamlining your creative talents. Much like personnel list for every routine, your set piece takers are now automatically assigned. Good, don't have to press auto do it every time. The takers themselves are now ranked based on relevant attributes, and you'll notice that deliveries are now categorized by swing rather than left. That's also good, because, you know, the number of times if you do auto and it just puts the, you know, instead of taking your 20 corner taking James Ward-Prowse and it won't put him on the left hand side because he's right footed or whatever, or won't put him on the right because he's right footed. No, just put your best player there. Instead of having to copy over your setup to both sides, you know, to create a routine which you apply to either side. Okay, as long as you have a suitable footed player. If you want to do your players to outswings from one side, in swings from the other, you can now do this by setting a player as your designated specialist. Right, that would be JWP then, from the takers menu, which makes them take every corner or free kick, or by only selecting left-footed or right-footed takers. Okay, good. We haven't made these changes set piece creator. We've now separated penalties their own tab. 2 additional customization options here. One that allows you to change taker first choice, missed a penalty. Oh, that's handy. Dictating your level of responsibility. Okay. Bear in mind that routines your set piece coach creates aren't entirely set in stone, and you're empowered to edit, amend, and customize them. There we go. So we can change it ourselves. Perfect. Thumbs up for that one. If you're happy with them though, so you probably just move them around. I think when you're on this screen, you can probably drag and drop these maybe, or move them around, or maybe that's what that creator button is. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how that appears. If you're happy with them, this is where your set piece coach can come into their own. You can delegate full responsibility for all aspects of set pieces. Should you want them to, they can handle everything in training and update the personnel and set piece taker list as you make changes. I wonder if they adapt, like if set pieces aren't successful, if they'll adapt what they're doing. Ultimately, this means your set piece routines will now be better aligned with your specific preferences. And once they're set, you can be involved as much or as little as you want, knowing that you've got the expertise. And that's also handy, because like right now, you just have to sort of take the defaults if you don't want to deal with it yourself. Yeah, I mean, that's the normal coaches menu for allocating training. Understanding your rival's set piece strengths. Oh, also good. As well as helping you with creation development of your set piece routines, FM24 will also give you greater insight into the approach of your opponents. This is in the data center, which I need to use more. This is something I need to think about. I need to be using that data center more. I didn't use it enough in FM22 and FM23. There's a lot of data in there, and I just fly through the game sometimes, and sometimes I ought to just sit and look. I guess when things are working, you just leave it how it is. We've added some new visuals to illustrate how strong teams and individual players are at both attacking and defending. There's also this is the type of data I'd actually use more. This is where I'd be worried. I'd go in and look at it. There's also a new type of visual that would be useful for seeing where a team tends to aim their deliveries. Allowing you to work with you. So that's what I want to know. I want to know if my set piece coach is going to adapt, knowing that the opposition is doing this. This is allowing you to work with your backroom team to evolve and adapt. But is my set piece coach going to do that for me? If he knows that, let's open this up. If he knows that Rotherham have this crosses against, opposition crosses from set pieces, opposition expected set piece assists. So if Rotherham, I think, I'm probably not reading this right. We concede higher, we concede less. No, this is defensive. So if we know that, I don't know, Rotherham have a high number of crosses against them and a high number of chances, assists. Do we, or Preston or QPR, do we target? Does my set piece coach then go and target without me having to interfere? Making an impact at both ends of the pitch. With the introduction of set piece coaches and a refresh of the set piece creator, it delivers you a new and refreshed ways to create match-winning routines in every scenario. Head over to the featured roadmap to discover more of this year's new additions, including... Yeah, okay. This is the end? This is. All right, but there's a dump of pictures at the end. What? This is unusual. I'm just going to refresh it just in case they got chucked. No, okay, right. Let's have a look at these then. So let's open up these 5 images. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 images. 6 images. And have a look at them. So we have... Right, so this is... set pieces. Your input is in Recruit to understand your preferences. So this is setting it. You choose which one you want. Oh, it's like a stage, like stage by stage by stage. Then we go into the step page, second page. What post you want to aim for? Both posts, near posts, no posts. When defending, how many players you want to leave forward? Defend the box, counter attack, balanced. How do you prefer the ball to be delivered from attacking? So this is like the tutorial bit at the start of the setup, basic setup for every team. How many players do you want to leave back? Maybe this is this is ticked. This is the creator. So the creator is this bit. So I wonder how you adjust it. So I'm gonna have to have a look at that when we get our hands on the beta, on the early access, because that doesn't show us if we can move these around. Got the preview options. Can I drag and drop these players? It suggested you could. The suggestion was you could up here where it said, what did it say? Here? Where was it? It was here somewhere. Create a routine. Can't see it now. Oh, here. Set pieces now be better aligned. You can be involved as much as little. That's the other bit. Where it did say somewhere. You could still change it. Interesting stuff. I mean, it's good. It's long overdue. Even if it's more basic than what was there before, it doesn't look like it fixes a lot of the problems. It might be that we have a little less control over the exact positioning of the players, but that's fine. That's pretty difficult to do in real life. I'm okay with that. It probably makes the game a little less exploitable with some of the set pieces, which will be really good. If they make the game less exploitable in PvP, that's great. In draft mode, in network games, if people aren't just spamming overpowered set pieces that the AI doesn't know how to defend against, actually, I'm not too worried if that means losing a little bit of control. In order to get control somewhere else in the set pieces. That makes more sense from a footballing perspective as well. This makes far more sense from a footballing perspective. That's cool. That's the updates for this week. We have got some more updates coming. So we have, let me just refresh this. Next week, more gameplay deep dives. We're going to see more of this. So hopefully we get to see exactly what is happening with these set pieces next week. This also looks like this little image. Can I even open it? The other modes. So there's draft mode. There's FM24’s, which is under FMFC. This menu actually looks the same. But yeah, this might just be a screenshot from 23 even. It's pretty blurry. And then quality of life upgrades. Can we glean anything from that? This is the fixture list, interestingly. I wonder why they've chosen the fixture list to show. So that's the quality of life updates, which is in 2 weeks. More gameplay deep dives. So there'll probably just be some little posts coming out next week. Maybe some videos next week, which would be quite useful. We can go through those. I'm excited. I am excited. Let me know what you think of the updates. Are you? I mean, this is a long overdue request. Are you happy about set pieces? A lot of people said they're skipping FM24 for FM12. I think that's a mistake. If you think it's also a mistake, make sure you use my link down in the description below. You will get 22% off the Steam price, £35.05 for the game from Fanatical. It's an approved game retailer, so it's probably I think it's the cheapest out there. Last time I checked, it was the cheapest out there. The cheapest way to get Football Manager from a legal reseller, none of these dodgy sites. So make sure you go use the Fanatical link down below with code Simaggio24. If you use that link and the code, you'll get it for £35.05. You'll get the beta as well, so you'll be able to test out all these wonderful upgrades that they have already announced. I mean, I'm pretty happy. This is a lot of big stuff that is really going to change the way in which we play the game. I think I'm going to have to get a hands-on before I can confirm that. But yeah, I think this is going to change, bigger change than what I think will happen in 25 outside of the visual and aspects of the game. This is probably stuff that they've been working on and they were meant to have 23, 22, maybe even FM 21. Good stuff. Looking forward to it. If you want to check out the rest of the videos, even next week's when it's out, make sure you check out the playlist of all the new stuff that they have added into the game right here.